Something strange is happening in North American tourism, and it's not what you might think. For the first time in decades, travelers from all over the world, and even from the United States, are skipping iconic destinations like Florida, California, and Hawaii, and instead heading north to Canada. This isn't just a trend, it's an unexpected shift in tourism. While American cities struggle with rising prices, safety concerns, and declining service, Canadian destinations are quietly stealing the spotlight. In this video, we take a look at the 10 US states that are rapidly losing tourists and why Canada has suddenly become everyone's new favorite place to explore. Number 1. Florida. There was a time when Florida was the perfect getaway. Picture palm trees, crystal clear waters, and theme parks packed all year round. It wasn't just a state, it was the American vacation dream. But something has changed, and fast. In 2025, Florida saw a sharp drop in tourist bookings. Millions of travelers who used to flock to Miami, Orlando, and the Keys are now looking elsewhere. And it's not just a matter of preference. Rising travel costs, extreme heat warnings, and increased crime have made many tourists rethink their plans. Beachfront hotels that used to be booked months in advance are now offering big discounts just to fill their rooms. Some don't even fill up. And then there's the experience itself. Visitors report a decline in service quality, long wait times, and a general feeling that Florida is no longer as welcoming or laid-back as it used to be. Add to that concerns about infrastructure, environmental degradation, and safety, and the picture becomes even clearer. Florida's crown is starting to crack. Meanwhile, travelers are discovering an unexpected alternative: Canada's coastal gems. Places like Nova Scotia, Vancouver Island, and Quebec City offer what Florida no longer does: clean beaches, cooler weather, lower prices, and a peaceful atmosphere. You won't find huge theme parks, but you will find calm waters, charming towns, and friendly people who seem genuinely happy to see you. Travel agencies have taken note as well. Many are redirecting their summer tour packages to Canada instead of Florida. It's not just about beauty, but about a better experience. Florida still has the sunshine, but right now Canada offers something even more valuable: trust, safety, and peace of mind. Number 2. California. California used to be the place where dreams were born. From the glitz of Hollywood to the laid-back surf towns of the Pacific, it was the state where anything seemed possible. But in 2025, that golden image is starting to fade, and fast. Tourism numbers in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles have taken a hard hit. Once packed with international travelers, the main tourist destinations are now reporting empty hotel rooms, canceled tours, and a noticeable drop in foot traffic. But why? It's not a lack of beauty. California still boasts stunning beaches, iconic landmarks, and endless sunshine. The problem is the experience. High prices are just the beginning. Visitors now face sky-high hotel rates, excessive parking fees, and inflated food prices. If you add to this the growing presence of homeless people in tourist areas, frequent reports of petty crime, and overwhelmed public services, it's no wonder travelers are choosing to look elsewhere. Enter the west coast of Canada. Cities like Vancouver and Toronto are slowly becoming the new California in the eyes of travelers. Vancouver offers ocean views, mountain hiking trails, and vibrant cultural neighborhoods, all in a clean, organized, and relatively safe environment. Toronto combines the energy of a big city with street art, top-notch cuisine, and a more relaxed pace. Tourists call it California without the chaos. Even travel influencers and tour operators are changing their strategy. Many now recommend Canada's coasts instead of California's, not because the views are more spectacular, but because the experience is calmer, friendlier, and more relaxing. California hasn't disappeared, but it's losing ground. The dream is still there, buried underneath. Number 3. Nevada. For decades, Las Vegas didn't need an off-season. The lights, the shows, the endless energy. Las Vegas was a permanent magnet for travelers from all over the world. But in 2025, something goes wrong. Behind the neon signs and dazzling facades, cracks start to appear. Hotels along the Strip report record low occupancy even during peak season. Luxury resorts that once had months-long waiting lists now offer huge discounts just to fill the rooms. But here's the catch. Tourists still aren't biting. Why? Because the Las Vegas experience has become too expensive, too exhausting, and for many, just not worth it. Visitors are put off by hidden resort fees, overpriced meals, inflated airfares, and an overall feeling of being ripped off at every turn. What once seemed glamorous now feels like a trap. Add to that the growing concerns about safety, the increase in homelessness near the main casinos, and a decline in overall service quality, and you end up with a city that's starting to lose its shine. Meanwhile, Niagara Falls in Ontario, Canada, is quietly establishing itself as a surprising alternative. Yes, it still has its appeal, a stunning natural wonder, but now it also boasts modern casinos, family-friendly attractions, boat rides, clean streets, and, most importantly, no hidden fees and no chaos. It's entertainment with room to breathe. Tourists describe it as relaxing, fun, and honest. A place where you can spend without feeling drained, either physically or financially. Las Vegas will always hold a unique place in American tourism, but its all-out party model is losing its appeal. As more travelers seek authenticity, value, and comfort, Las Vegas might need more than just bright lights to compete, because right now, the hype. Number 4. New York. New York has always been more than just a destination. It's been a symbol. The energy of Times Square, the art of Broadway, the diversity on every corner. It was the city that never slept and never stopped inspiring. But in 2025, the city is starting to feel tired. For the first time in decades, international tourism is dropping, with sharp declines in the number of visitors from Europe and Canada. Hotels near Central Park are reporting fewer bookings, and even the main attractions are experiencing a noticeable drop in foot traffic. What has changed? Ask the tourists and they'll tell you. New York feels different now. High hotel rates, often $300 or more per night, combined with expensive meals, high transportation costs, and rising crime, are making many travelers think twice. What used to be an exciting cultural challenge now feels like an overwhelming financial burden. On top of that, there's a growing sense of disconnection. Tourists say they feel less welcome, more stressed, and sometimes even unsafe, especially in popular areas where pickpocketing, loitering, and aggressive panhandling have become more common. In contrast, Toronto and Montreal are emerging as modern, accessible, and friendly alternatives. Toronto offers that urban dynamism, with skyscrapers, arts districts, and a multicultural vibe, but with cleaner streets, better public safety, and a more organized transportation system. Montreal brings European charm with cobblestone streets, cafe culture, and a relaxed pace, all at a much lower price. Travelers aren't saying that New York isn't worth it. They're just saying they found places that offer the best, the same excitement without the emotional and financial exhaustion. New York will always be an icon, but in 2025, being an icon isn't enough. To stay on the map, the Big Apple might need to face its. Number 5. Arizona. Arizona's landscapes are breathtaking. The Grand Canyon, with its vast, otherworldly cliffs, still dazzles people. But in 2025, fewer travelers will come to visit, and the reasons go far beyond the weather. Let's start with the obvious. The heat. Summers have always been hot in Arizona, but this year, warnings about extreme temperatures have become routine. Hiking at noon, outdoor excursions, frequently canceled. Tourists looking for adventure now face dangerous conditions even before they start exploring. Then there's the cost. Entrance fees to national parks have steadily increased, and full-day tours of the Grand Canyon can now cost over $600 per person, even before considering travel, lodging, or meals. Many of the surrounding towns haven't kept up with the pace of modern tourism needs. The infrastructure is outdated, rest areas are limited, and visitors often complain about the lack of shade, hydration stations, and basic services. In short, the scenery is spectacular, but the experience is exhausting. Meanwhile, the Canadian province of Alberta, especially areas like Jasper and Banff, is gaining a lot of attention among outdoor enthusiasts. These destinations offer cooler temperatures, crystal-clear lakes, mountain trails, and a professional yet laid-back hospitality, all at a more manageable cost, with better infrastructure and a focus on comfort. Travelers are clear. They don't choose Alberta over Arizona because it's more beautiful. They choose it because it's less tiring, more accessible, and seems to value their presence. Arizona's natural beauty remains unspoiled, but the human touch, the service, the attention, the planning, that's what's missing. And in a time when I expect it. Number 6, Colorado. Colorado used to be the symbol of wild and untamed adventure. Towering mountains, alpine lakes, and open trails. This used to be the perfect place to reconnect with nature and disconnect from the chaos. But in 2025, that image is becoming harder and harder to maintain. As tourism has seen explosive growth, so has development. Gateways that were once remote, like Estes Park and Breckenridge, are now congested by mid-morning. Cabin and campsite rentals have skyrocketed. $400 to $500 a night is not unusual, and even then, they're booked months in advance. Visitors seeking solitude often find themselves stuck in crowds, waiting in lines, and paying luxury prices for what used to be a rustic getaway. And it's not just the cost. Many tourists now say that Colorado feels over-commercialized. Scenic routes are lined with makeshift food stalls, souvenir shops at trailheads, and what used to be peaceful viewpoints are now overrun by selfie-taking crowds. The feeling of discovering something authentic and pure quickly fades away. In contrast, travelers seeking a genuine nature experience are heading north, to British Columbia or with these Canadian regions, you still get the true atmosphere of adventure. Quiet trails, untouched landscapes, encounters with wildlife, and a slower pace that invites reflection, not just recreation. And unlike Colorado, they haven't yet been overrun by mass tourism. The irony? Colorado still retains an incredible natural beauty. It just feels like it's being buried under its own popularity. And for travelers who long for nature that feels truly wild and untouched, places like the Yukon check all the boxes. Colorado may have once led the way in adventure tourism, but if it wants to keep. Number 7, Louisiana. There was a time when New Orleans not only welcomed you, but drew you in with open arms and a trumpet playing in the background. The food, the music, the streets that seemed to breathe culture. This city was alive, but in 2025, the rhythm that once defined New Orleans is starting to slow down, and not by choice. Tourists are noticing the change. What was once a soulful and energetic atmosphere now feels muted by rising crime, poverty, and a strained service industry. Bourbon Street, once a hotbed of late-night jazz and dancing crowds, often feels eerily quiet, and when visitors do come, many say they feel unsafe or uncomfortable. Local artists, street performers, and musicians, the heart of the city, are struggling. With fewer tourists, tips have dried up. Some artists have left altogether, unable to make a living in a city that once thrived on its artistic spirit. Even longtime restaurant and shop owners say they see fewer faces and more frustrations. Many travelers say that New Orleans no longer feels like a celebration of culture, but rather a place weighed down by hardship and imbalance. And while the culture hasn't disappeared, the experience of feeling embraced by it has. On the other hand, Quebec City is catching the attention of travelers looking for that old-world charm. Its cobblestone streets, gentle live music, vibrant art scenes, and the emphasis on safety and hospitality remind visitors of what cities like New Orleans used to be: warm, welcoming, and genuine. New Orleans still has soul, but today tourists are looking for more than just history. They're seeking connection. And until the city finds a way to balance its rich past with a safer and more sustainable present, it risks losing not only its visitors, but also its very essence. Number 8, Illinois. Chicago used to be a magnet for culture, business, and unforgettable skyline views. From the massive trade shows at McCormick Place to the weekend food festivals and music events, the city thrived on a steady stream of both national and international visitors. But in 2025, that energy has faded, and downtown Chicago feels noticeably emptier. Event tourism has plummeted, conferences are relocating, major exhibitions are downsizing, and weekend visitors are skipping the Windy City. Even lifelong residents say the city's pulse has quieted down. A big part of the decline: perception and price. Tourists often mention safety concerns, especially near key attractions. Stories of petty crime, visible homelessness, and aggressive behavior in public spaces have raised concerns. Then there's the cost. Airfare to Chicago has skyrocketed. Hotel rooms easily top $300 a night, and transportation and food add hundreds more to even a short trip. Visitors are left wondering if the experience is worth it. Meanwhile, places like Ottawa and Calgary are quickly stepping in to fill the gap. Ottawa, once labeled as too quiet, is now praised for its cleanliness, walkability, and cultural sophistication. Calgary, a rising star in Western Canada, is attracting both business travelers and families alike with its blend of modern urban life, easy access to nature, and better value for money. While Chicago still boasts world-class architecture, museums, and deep dish pizza, it's no longer the automatic choice it once was. Tourists are looking for safe, enriching, and affordable alternatives, and they're finding them across the border. Number 9. Alaska. Alaska has always been an unpredictable phenomenon in American tourism. Remote, pristine, and breathtaking, this was the perfect place for those seeking something special, something different. Glaciers, grizzly bears, northern lights promised a kind of magic you couldn't find anywhere else. But in 2025, that magic comes at a steep price, and for many, it's become an unattainable dream. The cost of a vacation in Alaska has skyrocketed. A 7-day trip can now cost over $7,000 per person once you factor in airfare, lodging, tour fees, insurance, and unpredictable weather changes. On top of that, there are long travel times, limited flight availability, and outdated infrastructure in many tourist towns. And suddenly, Alaska feels less like an epic adventure and more like a logistical headache. Climate change is also taking its toll. Shorter wildlife seasons, unpredictable cruise routes, and rising temperatures are changing what people can see and do once they arrive. For middle-aged and older travelers, it's not just expensive, but also exhausting to venture into the wilds of northern Canada, where destinations like Churchill, Manitoba, famous for its polar bears and northern lights, and Jasper, Alberta, are becoming smart and peaceful alternatives. These places offer incredible wildlife, spectacular scenery, and peaceful solitude, but with better accessibility and much lower costs. Churchill has positioned itself as the new face of Arctic tourism, with guided wildlife tours, cozy accommodations, and a tranquility that's hard to replicate. Meanwhile, Jasper offers glacier excursions, dark sky preserves, and turquoise lakes without major effort or expense. Alaska still sparks the imagination, but in 2025 more travelers will realize that they can. Number 10. Texas. Texas has always sold itself on its boldness, big skies, great music, big flavors, and even bigger festivals. Cities like Austin and San Antonio were once must-visits for those seeking live music, authentic barbecue, and a good dose of Southern charm. But in 2025, the Lone Star State is facing an unexpected tourism slowdown. What's driving this decline? A combination of factors is undermining Texas's appeal. Extreme summer heat, often soaring well above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, is making outdoor events and walking tours unbearable. Meanwhile, major cities are grappling with overcrowding, a rise in urban crime, and infrastructure that struggles to keep up with demand. Visitors who once came for the laid-back vibe now say they feel more stressed than entertained. Even major events like SHO have seen a noticeable drop in attendance. Festival attendees cite the rising hotel prices, which often exceed $1,500 per night in downtown Austin, as well as long waits for transportation and services. Add to that the long drives between major destinations, and many tourists simply end up feeling exhausted. So where are they heading instead? The answer lies to the north in Western Canada. Destinations like Banff, Jasper, and Kelowna are growing rapidly. These places offer what Texas once promised: culture, live music, local food scenes, and natural beauty, but with cooler temperatures, less congestion, and much better value. Even Canada's regional music festivals are gaining attention for their welcoming atmosphere, picturesque settings, and laid-back pace. Texas hasn't lost its magic, but for travelers seeking comfort, culture, and nature without the heat wave or the price tag, Canada now sings a sweeter tune, and Texas does not.